We would like to welcome you to the Better Cribs and Gardens channel. If you have been looking for information on aquaponics system, how does it work, we have our top 3 compilation videos that we have researched and want to present to you. Also, we have provided the information to their different YouTube channels. Make sure that you visit them. Please don't copyright strike us, this is to inform, educate and entertain our audience. But first off, there are links at the bottom in the description of this video that will take you to the official page that you see here. If you are looking for some fantastic information on a step-by-step how to build your own aquaponics system that is said to teach you how to build your own aquaponics system in a step-by-step way. The information website page is called Aquaponics for You, that is also featured in the beginning and at the end of the video. And you can see that this featured information is said to teach you the breakthrough organic gardening secret grows you up to 10 times the plants, in half the time, with healthier plants, while the fish do all the work. Just take a look as we briefly scroll. Also take a look here, as you can see that there is a video featured on the official page that should be able to show more information and help you to understand better. Also, take a look here as it says that you may be able to grow 4,000 pounds of organic vegetables per month, with 1/10 the space, and more information is featured here. Just take a look as we briefly scroll through. If you would like to take a look at the featured step-by-step how to build your own aquaponics system that is said to teach you how to build your own aquaponics system in a step-by-step way for yourself, all that you have to do is just click on the links provided in this description. Just briefly take a look here as we scroll. But now, let's get to our selection of videos that we have researched for aquaponics system. How does it work? We hope that you will enjoy it. Where we researched the videos from. Video number 1 is from the Asuz TV YouTube channel. Video number 2 is from the ZenSun Gardens YouTube channel. Video number 3 is from the alcoopextensionvideo YouTube channel.
Aquaponics is a combination of aquaculture and hydroponics, that is, a combination of fish farming and farming without soil. You can do it on a tiny scale, growing lettuce on top of a fish tank, or a large scale in a state-of-the-art greenhouse. Basically, it uses fish waste to fertilize plants. At the New England Food Show, Trevor Kenkel is displaying his microfarm. People are amazed that you can grow lettuce on top of a fish tank.
I started growing with aquaponics about 8 years ago, and now I started Springworks about 2.
With the help of investors, built an aquaponics greenhouse in Lisbon, Maine. The location is close to Bowdoin College, where Trevor went to school. On the way to the greenhouse, you'll pass some chickens. They do like lettuce scraps.
So this is where the plants start out in the system. They're seeded into mostly cocoa coir, which is the shavings off of a coconut husk. So it's a media where they can root out into and then later be transplanted out into the main area of the system once they're large enough. The substrate doesn't actually have any real nutrients attached to it. They're watered with water from the system to get their nutrients early on, and then once the roots start to begin to be constrained by the trays, they get transplanted out and are allowed to grow to a larger size. So this is our worm bin, scraps from the harvest that aren't used for our chickens, aren't fit for human consumption, go into here, and they're eaten up by the worms to create a product called vermicompost that we can use later in the seeding of the system. And it's a very nutrient-rich compost that allows us to recycle some of the unused parts of the plant back into the system and be more sustainable in that area of our production. So once the plants get large enough, in the seedling stage, they're transplanted out into the main area of the greenhouse, and they're transplanted out into what we call stage 2, which is a much smaller spacing than our mature spacing, but enough to allow them space to grow, to root out into the system. And then once they're large enough, they get transplanted out into the mature stage towards the end of the greenhouse and float back towards us. So we harvest really on one end of the greenhouse, so the product is as fresh as possible because all of the processing is done really within 10 yards of where any head is harvested. And the system is very space efficient because we're really trying to give the plants what they need space-wise at any given point in their life cycle. So our greenhouse is about 10 times more productive than traditional agriculture because we can kind of change that spacing over time rather than being limited by soil and kind of staying in one spot. So the roots just grow right down into the nutrient-rich solution. The whole system moves like a water conveyor belt, and these just float right on top. The system really gives the plants everything they need, so they don't need to grow as extensive of a root system as a traditional soil plant would. So they can grow faster in the system, usually about 15% faster, because they really have access to everything that they need. These won't have roots yet, but if we go down towards the end, you'll see. So these will be moved into stage 3 soon, and you can kind of see the root system just starting to develop. And then when they're a little bit bigger, they'll move into the next stage of growth in their life cycle. And the whole system, because it's contained like this, it uses about 90% less water. So we save about 1.8 million gallons of water a year. That goes all the way down to the end, and then kind of is pushed back to this end of the greenhouse and all flows into our sump. Yeah, we store water here. It makes the sump quicker to fill up. We have one pump that runs the whole system. After that, the water is basically falling from one stage to the next. Comes back up through here after it's pumped. And then it goes through our boiler system, which is how we heat the greenhouse during the winter. We heat the water for the most part rather than heating the air, which is a lot more efficient, a lot more economical and sustainable because the water holds a lot of thermal mass. So we can stabilize the temperature of the greenhouse using all the water out there. I mean, we have over 20,000 gallons of water in the system that can hold heat and store heat during the day and release it at night, so that we don't have to spend as much energy operating this year-round. Yep, this is the water flowing to the troughs. So it'll go underneath and then breaks up into a manifold, splits into 5 parts, and that water all flows through the troughs and comes back to eventually be pumped out again. So at this point, the water is now, it's being pushed into the tanks here, and that's all overflowing, and then it's going to overflow out into the troughs. Those troughs are going to overflow into the sump. So, that one pump, once the water gets to about our height, it's just going to fall through the system until it gets back to the pump again.
So this is the first step in the process. Us feeding the fish, the waste from the fish and the nitrates then go throughout our system to fertilize our plants out in the greenhouse.
So we use tilapia. They're a tropical fish that actually comes from the Nile. They're very easy to breed in captivity, so they're convenient for a farm like us that does a lot of stuff in-house. We have about 1,000 fish that run the system constantly, and it takes about 9 months to a year before the tilapia are fully grown and able to go off to market themselves. Yeah, so this is where all the fish are kept in the system. They're kept in 5 1,200-gallon tanks. And the plumbing of the system is designed to flush waste, through the tanks where it eventually is filtered. It's where solids are settled out by gravity. It's like a retention tank. The solids are then taken and reprocessed. Of course, the nutrient-rich liquid flows out to the troughs, the growing area, and that's what the lettuce uses to grow, which in turn cleans the water for the fish. And so that the system runs like a small ecosystem.
In a nutshell, aquaponics works like this. Fish waste creates ammonia. Bacteria then turns ammonia into nitrites, and then nitrates. The nitrates feed the plants, and then clean water is returned to the fish tanks.
So I started growing with aquaponics about 7 years ago, just with a tiny little system in my garage, and I became interested in it and really in sustainable agriculture because of the effects agriculture was having on ecosystems near me. I grew up in Montana around a lot of big ag, and as a young kid I kind of saw the effects in a local creek near me that agriculture could have with fish loss. And
we grow different varieties of lettuce. We have green leaf, bib lettuce, red leaf lettuce, baby romaine lettuce. We have lovelock on the outside, it's our green leaf lettuce. Baby green romaine. So this is tat soy. It's one of our Asian greens that we use in our mix. Baby red romaine, or baby purple romaine. This is bok choy. And then we have our Mizuno, which we use in our salad mix. This is our spinner, our salad spinner. So we wash and spin all our lettuce before we deliver it. So we wash our lettuce here, and then we have a chill room here. So this is where we do all our processing, make our mix, packaging. You can see here, forms of packaging.
And so I kind of stumbled upon aquaponics, tried it out in my garage, and kept building bigger and bigger systems, which eventually culminated in a greenhouse that I built in my backyard. And that system was actually more productive than I anticipated. So I started selling to a local restaurant, growing all kinds of different things for them. And that's what really started to get me interested in aquaponics, not just as a way to feed my own family sustainably, but to feed others sustainably and really look at it as a business. So I started designing a much larger system. The system that we have now is about 30 times larger than that original greenhouse. And using the principles that I had kind of learned there, applying them on a much larger scale, and developing a tight business plan around it. The other side of our business is the microfarms, which kind of takes the concepts that we use here and puts them in a system that's on a much smaller scale, but really operates on a lot of the same principles with nitrification and mineralization happening in just a smaller area. So it goes on top of a 10-gallon aquarium. We have developed an educational curriculum that we can pair alongside it and really allow people to get familiar with agriculture and with a hands-on way of doing science in the classroom and really in their own home.
Springworks still has a farm stand that came with the original farm. They sell their own lettuce. They also sell eggs from their free-range chickens, plus eggs and produce from other local farms.
Urban farming, Aquaponics was established in 2010. We were excited about the idea of sustainable farming, and Dan completed a commercial training with Friendly Aquaponics out of Hawaii. Friendly Aquaponics holds a similar vision as Fish to Food, that this amazing sustainable technology will play a large part in the future of farming. Developing a small system required many hours of research. We developed our backyard system and have had more than 200 people tour our farm, including Girl Scouts, Rollins College Environmental Department, and individuals wanting to start their own system. No soil, no fertilizer, no problem. Aquaponics is the combination of aquaculture, raising fish in tanks, and hydroponics, growing plants in water, so they both grow better. In aquaponics, you grow fish and plants together in one integrated soilless system. The fish waste provides a natural fertilizer source for the plants, and the plants provide a natural filter for the water the fish live in. When aquaponics is combined with a controlled environment greenhouse, premium quality crops can be grown on a year-round basis anywhere in the world. Aquaponics can be used to sustainably raise fresh fish and vegetables for a family, to feed a town, or to generate a profit in a commercial farming venture. Aquaponics uses less than 2% of the water that traditional farming does. Aquaponics is energy efficient. Current systems use 1/10 of the energy of conventional farming. Aquaponics has 8 to 10 times more vegetable production in the same area and time. Aquaponics is fully scalable from backyard family systems to full commercial systems. And aquaponics produce can be USDA certified organic and food safety certified. What makes aquaponics work is the nitrogen cycle. Along with the decomposing waste, ammonia is created as the fish in the aquaculture tank breathe and excrete waste. This water is pumped from the aquaculture tank to the grow bed, where friendly bacteria convert the ammonia first into nitrites, then into nitrates. It is the nitrates that feed the plants, creating high yields of organic vegetables in a shorter time than with crops grown in soil. This bacteria conversion cleans the water, which is then returned to the aquaculture tank, and the cycle begins again. Aquaponics is a closed-loop water reuse system, making it very eco-friendly, particularly for arid regions of the world. This has been an exciting year for Fish to Food. We introduced our Eduponics program for schools, churches, and humanitarian organizations. It consists of a DVD, which is an introduction to aquaponics, from the history to the future of farming. We were proud to develop our Veggie Pond Eco Farm, which is a small classroom or patio-size aquaponic unit. The unit is a 110-gallon aquaculture system and 2 30-gallon grow beds. In addition, we authored another DVD, Aquaponics Plumb It, for backyard users. This DVD has 3 different plumbing diagrams and a diagram on how to build a bell siphon, how to construct a netting system, how to make a floating raft bed, and how to construct a vertical grow structure and a pyramid structure. It is also important to know that aquaponics systems can be built inexpensively with locally available repurposed materials. Shipping containers that were used to ship bulk foods can be used. These are IBC totes and 55-gallon blue barrels. In addition, some people are using old bathtubs or spas as fish tanks. In addition to aquaponics education, we have a vision of building a sustainable aquaponics container farm on a piece of land we own in Apopka. These steel containers are used for shipping cargo and are 40 feet by 8 feet 9 inches wide. By repurposing these containers and using them as climate-controlled growing environments, we would be helping the environment and creating locally grown, organically produced fruits and vegetables. Living near the coast gives us better access to the containers, and we have done some cost research into retrofitting several of these containers into a greenhouse and aquaponics farm. In addition, we have partnered with Friendly Aquaponics in Hawaii, and they have agreed to do commercial trainings on site at our facility. With that in mind, we decided to add at least 2 containers placed together and retrofit as a living space and classroom facility with a working kitchen, bathrooms, and bedroom. These containers are extremely versatile and are being used as homes. By placing multiple containers together, they become a much larger living space. The tops of the containers can be replaced with fixed glass or other suitable material, and windows can be added to the sides, allowing natural light into the growing area. The climate can be controlled using a heating and cooling system, and photovoltaic cells can provide the power with a backup generator when needed. This type of growing environment eliminates pesticides since you are growing indoors. Vegetables can be grown year-round regardless of the weather. Since aquaponics is a water reuse system of farming crops, this becomes extremely important in arid regions. Since water is now a commodity being bought and sold on the stock market, and scientists predict that drought conditions will worsen within the next 25 years, this makes reusing water extremely important. The yields in this type of farming are much higher than in conventional farming, and the benefits to the environment are numerous. Franz Schreier's Aquaponic Solar Greenhouse. Our partners have come up with an awesome vertical growing system that can be used either with aquaponic or hydroponic nutrient solutions that puts 10 or 20 times as many plants per square foot into the solar greenhouse as the best current vertical growing system can, and almost 50 times as many plants per square foot as our raft bed aquaponics systems do. As a result, the solar greenhouse has a cost per plant to build and operate that is 1/10 the cost of any current technology or less. Also, you are not limited to aquaponic growing because this greenhouse will work with standard hydroponic growing solutions or our organically approved hydroponic growing technology if you want organic certification.
There are many designs for an aquaponics system. This method, however, has been successful for our Aquaponics 101 workshop for teachers in the Auburn University School of Fisheries, Aquaculture, and Aquatic Sciences. Using a single intermediate bulk container consisting of a large 275 to 330 gallon capacity polyethylene vessel supported by an outer metal frame is a relatively simple and inexpensive method. The other materials are generally available at most home supply or hardware stores. Once set up, these systems are simple to operate and maintain. This video presumes that you are familiar with aquaponics, particularly the ebb and flow style, also known as flood and drain.
that allows plant roots to be in the water part of the time and in the air part of the time. We will demonstrate the construction of the 4 sections of the system: the fish tank, the grow bed, the bell siphon, and the plumbing required to move the water. Safety always comes first. For you, the fish, and the food that you produce. It's important when building an aquaponics system that you start with a clean container. Containers made from chemical-resistant, high-density polyethylene, also known as HDPE, are the best choice. Be sure that you know what was in the container. The most desirable ones were previously used for food products. For IBCs that contain food products, clean the inside of the pieces, using dish soap is acceptable, and make sure to rinse thoroughly with a water hose or pressure washer to ensure that there is no residue from the previous cargo. For an IBC that contained chemicals, refer to the appropriate Material Safety Data Sheet, also known as MSDS, to determine how to clean it properly.
Now, once again we would like to thank you for watching our top 3 videos, for Aquaponics System How Does It Work? Hit that like button and that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Also remember that we have links below in the video description that will take you to the official page that you see here, for some fantastic information on a step-by-step how to build your own aquaponics system that is said to teach you how to build your own aquaponics system in a step-by-step way. The information website page is called Aquaponics for You, that is also featured in the beginning and at the end of the video. And you can see that this featured information is said to teach you the breakthrough organic gardening secret grows you up to 10 times the plants, in half the time, with healthier plants, while the fish do all the work. Just take a look as we briefly scroll. Also take a look here, as you can see that there is a video featured on the official page that should be able to show more information and help you to understand better. Also, take a look here as it says that you may be able to grow 4,000 pounds of organic vegetables per month, with 1/10 the space, and more information is featured here. Just take a look as we briefly scroll through. Just click on the links provided in the description to see more on the step-by-step how to build your own aquaponics system that is said to teach you how to build your own aquaponics system in a step-by-step way for yourself.